Good morning, it's 10 o'clock. I'm Nancy Sun, and it's time for Easy News on ICRT. In Taiwan, the TAIEX opened down 23 points this morning from yesterday's close at 8,352 on turnover of 1.8 billion NT. Lawmakers yesterday once again failed to reach consensus on when Premier Zhang Yihua will be allowed to deliver his policy report to the Legislative Yuan. Opposition lawmakers have now blocked Zhang from delivering his administrative report 6 times since the start of the current legislative session. Regular legislative activities cannot proceed until Zhang delivers the report. Business leaders are calling on lawmakers to prioritize economic growth over political disputes. Japan's Prime Minister Shinzo Abe yesterday said he supports Taiwan's entry into the Trans-Pacific Partnership Free Trade Bloc. According to a spokesman for the island's delegation to the Asia-Pacific Economic Cooperation Forum, Abe also voiced his backing for free trade deals between Japan and Taiwan. The comments were made during a meeting between Abe and former Vice President Vincent Xiao on the sidelines of the summit in Bali, Indonesia. The island's latest national defense report highlights an increasing military threat from China and warns that Beijing plans to boost its combat capabilities to a point where it will be able to mount a full attack on Taiwan by 2020. According to the 12th National Defense Report, China plans to ramp up its combat capabilities to a level where it could launch an all-out attack on both Taiwan proper and the outlying islands. It concludes by saying Taiwan's military is adhering to a concept of innovative, asymmetric warfare in line with national defense policies and making efforts to develop its own weapon systems. And Taiwan took its 5th gold medal at the East Asian Games in Tianjin, China yesterday after Li Wenrong won the women's Zhenshu and Qianshu event. Changming Huang took bronze yesterday in the men's shot put finals. Taiwan is currently sitting 4th place in the medals table, having won 5 gold, 5 silver, and 10 bronze. In international news, nearly 400 people in China's northwestern Xinjiang region have been investigated for spreading online rumors. In July and August, 110 people were detained and 164 received a warning. Local media reports say the suspects disseminated religious extremism and material that threatened stability. Xinjiang is home to the mostly Muslim Uyghurs, who are a minority in China and have often clashed with authorities. Last month, President Xi Jinping vowed to continue the battle against what he described as separatism, terrorism, and religious extremism. But human rights groups have accused Beijing of exaggerating the terrorist threat in order to justify its tough security policies. In more news from China, an overseas Tibetan rights group says yesterday that about 60 people were injured when Chinese security forces fired into a crowd of Tibetan protesters. The residents were demanding the release of a fellow villager detained for protesting orders to display the national flag. Free Tibet said it had the identities of 5 of the injured Tibetans. It named 2 victims who said it had been taken to a Lhasa hospital in critical condition. China has claimed Tibet as part of its territory for centuries, while the Tibetans say they were largely independent prior to the occupation by communist troops in 1950. Protesters in Brazil have disrupted an official visit to a football stadium being built for next year's World Cup. A group of some 50 people stormed the arena in western Brazil as it was being inspected by the Secretary General of FIFA, Jerome Valcke. They shouted slogans and held banners criticizing the huge amounts being spent in preparations for the World Cup. They are calling for more public spending on health and education. The 2014 World Cup will kick off in Sao Paulo on June 12th. The final match will be played in Rio de Janeiro's Maracana Stadium on July 13th. And now looking at the weather across Taiwan, according to the Central Weather Bureau, we can expect partly cloudy skies and scattered showers in the north with a high of 31 in Taipei, and partly clear skies in the center and south with a high of 31 in both Taichung and Kaohsiung. Current temperatures now, Taipei 25, Taichung 29, and Kaohsiung 30.